I'm going to give you a tour of my plant shop. If you're new here, my name is Holly. Right now it looks a little bit like a pumpkin shop also. It's a long story and I will get into that as we go. I keep thinking that this is something like a bugger in my hair and I'm like, ah! And that's kind of a little bit of an occupational hazard because it happens like everywhere in this store. I don't know why we do the low-hanging things. I think the deal is we hang things and then they grow as plants do, and then they just end up, we are so used to them being there and growing, we learn to kind of avoid them because we come in all the time, but then people just walk in and they're not accustomed to plants dangling from the ceiling. Weird. So we have alternate routes we take to work around the plants, but I need to readjust that because I think probably some customers get caught up. I see them doing the thing, which means you think you have a spider in your hair, and I'm sorry. Oh, I think I have to be closer. That was going to be kind of dramatic. Okay, let's see here. That work? Oh crap, I think I'm out of batteries. So the disco ball was an absolute must. My friend got one at her house, and I had what they call a disco ball envy. And I'm not making that up, that's an actual thing, because if you pay attention, you have it right now too. And I'm sorry. It's contagious. So I had disco ball envy, and I got the disco ball, and I realized, oh my gosh, I don't just have disco ball envy, I have a little twinkling around the walls envy. And so I needed a disco ball spinner thing. So I ordered a disco ball spinner thing, and now I'm cured of my disco ball envy. I think it should go slower actually. Hold on. I don't know if it's reading it. Okay. Come on, just go a little slower. That'd be, there we go. Slower is better, I think. I think that's the vibe. Like fast is like raver. Slow is the plant shop setting. I should just put plant shop right there. So when you walk in the door, and I'm closed right now, so I've just got my signs that I put outside. I have 2 shelves full of Hoyas, and let's see, I think I'll move to this side so you can see better. And these are old trays that I got from a restaurant supply, and they frankly fit perfectly on these IKEA shelves that we have. And then we've got like a lot of the stuff in here has been repurposed. Like this is a jump box from a gym I used to have. And these rugs were from my house. This bench was from my great-grandmother's house, and she kept her plants on it in front of her window, and so now I've got plants on it in front of my window. And you'll see that I have a lot of vintage pieces throughout. I collect vintage. If you've seen my other videos, you know that. And so the loophole of running out of space for vintage furniture in your home is if you have a shop, you can be like, oh, I think I can use that in the shop. And so that's what I do. And so I have stuff that I don't have room for in the house or the shop yet, but I will make room for it because, you know, sometimes it's really, they say that if you find a really good piece of vintage that you'll find a space for it no matter what. or that you'll create a second location for it no matter what. And I found that to be very true. We just got these in. I love these little olive trees because, you know, you can get the large ones, but like the little tabletop olive tree, I feel like in a terracotta planter would be amazing. And it's like a easy way to get into olive trees if you're wanting to get into olive trees. Obsessed with these cactus. Have you ever seen them? They're called roadkill cactus. And of course the spiralies. So we have these little babies, which are super cute, but then we also have this big, massive ones. We have a couple of these in the shop. So we have just like little nooks set up, and I have just old shelves, like these shelves I found on Craigslist, and they were stockroom shelves for Macy's, and they look amazing. I love the wood. I love the metal. They are a little bit tippy. They're incredibly tall too. I'm gonna say they're like 8 feet tall. But so some spaces they wouldn't fit in, but in this space it works out really, really well. And then I have over here our neon sign, just vintage lamp that I found, and this record player. And it does work. I just don't have it hooked up right now. And sometimes we will play music on it. It's just I moved it, but this is a cool mid-century cabinet. But it looks nice in the plant shop, I think. I got this old podium from the thrift store, and I was like, I think I could hang plants on that. So I did, and there's that. And then if ever I get a chance to find these like wooden crates, we use them for display. They're so cool. I know you can get them. I got these, I think, at like Target or something, but they have them in IKEA too. Any kind of thing that's like old store, like I have these baskets. You don't think you need a vintage shopping cart until you accidentally buy 5,000 pumpkins. Normally, this is a old, some kind of metal, like high school TV cart, and that's where they would keep all the electronics on it, I think. And that's for like, I think it says like Pep set. So like they were keeping like PA systems for a high school on it. Anyway. And these are, I have these IKEA shelves kind of going along this wall, and I bought restaurant supply trays to kind of put them in when we water them. You know, we're watering them from the bottom. But then also at the flea market, I was able to find some anytime I find trays for a good price, I buy them up, just because I always need trays, because you don't want, you know, you're always watering something, and it's really nice to be able to catch the water, put a tray below something, you know. This is a clothing rack that is now a plant rack, and with a tray on the bottom, works quite well. And then we've put those Barina grow lights on these shelves, and I would really love to have them on each shelf, but it is a work in progress. So we've got them on some of them, and we have some nice natural light coming from the front. So they do plants. We don't aim for them to grow here. We really just hope they'll sell, but they do actually get some nice growth just from these windows. We have these tables in the middle, and what we do is we have a terrarium creation station. So we do classes here, but then also anytime we're open, you can come in and create your own terrarium. And we give you a kit that has like all the things that you need, and you can kind of pick what decorations you like. So these are the different kits you can pick for your terrarium, and people add crystals and things into it, and then you get like 2 baby plants to put in your terrarium, and of course you can get more. These are all the substrates, and then we use this fabric to separate layers. We have gloves so people don't have to get their hands dirty. And this is an example that someone on my team made. Pretty cool. But yeah, we have big groups of people who come in and do it. It's very fun. And this is where we keep the baby plants these days. And it's really, they don't need to be in a cabinet for humidity. It's just a nice way to keep them, because they're all 2-inch pots, from getting too tippy. And so the bitty babies we'll keep in here, and then sometimes we keep like the more sensitive plants in the cabinet. This is our first location was like 150 square feet, and this is the sign I made, and they're like little plastic succulents that are kind of falling out. This was an old schoolhouse clock, and I gutted it, painted it white, and made a sign out of it. And then my friend did the vinyl, and my friend another friend gave me the sign itself. So pretty cool. A lot of reusing and recycling happening. And then a friend gave me that table, so I thought, what a great snake plant stand. This is an old hardware store shelf, and it looks Very nice with all the planters. And like as we get further back in the shop, you'll see less and less plants in certain areas. And that's mainly because we're relying totally on a grow light as we head back here. And so I have this Soltech grow light here, trying not to blind you, and it is incredibly effective at taking care of this whole group of plants. And look how amazing. Like, I love the aesthetic, and you know, this space has these beams in it, so I literally just zip tied it up. You know, I had it attached more professionally at our last location, but it's really not bad. And so while we have a lease here, this is where it is. And you know, no one's made fun of me for zip tying it yet, but I love the light it gives. And I just think these things are, man, grow lights are awesome. I kind of fought them for a while, but that was me being silly. So I have this little sitting area here, and my friend Brian did this painting. I actually set for it years ago, and then I had the opportunity to buy it, and so I did. And so I've had this painting for, gosh, over 20 years. And sometimes it's kind of hard to find a place for it because sometimes you don't live in a place that has that much open wall. But I knew I wanted to have this couch in the shop, and I thought, wow, that really is going to work perfectly. And so we have these vintage lamps, and then the side tables match this coffee table, and you'll see there's a plant growing out the center. And the deal is, I'll tell you my funny story. So it had a glass top on it, much like the side tables do. And I loved it, and I had it there, and I thought, you know, I had some kids' games and things on there because, like, that's a lot of times if you come to the shop and you're a kid or someone who's not as interested in plants, you have a little seat there, and it's really lovely to have a nice little sitting area. So I had the coffee table, and I thought, oh, this fits perfectly. So I was unloading terrariums one day that had just come in, these really fantastic artisan fragile terrariums. And a customer comes in, and she's asking all about the terrariums, and they have this like very like short wooden base and a very tall leaded glass top. They're kind of like a stained glass artist made them. And she goes and just picks them up. So the top toppled off of one, and it fell. And then she picked it up really fast, and it had a big crack in it. And she goes, oh, it's fine. And I saw that I had a crack in it. And I was like, it's fine. I'll take it, because I'm not going to be like, you just cracked my terrarium. Some people would. I wouldn't. I don't do the big, you break it, you buy it thing. I just was like, okay, I don't want this woman to be embarrassed. So she's like, no, I've got it. I'll put it back. She goes to put it back where she got it. And then it fell out of her hands again. I mean, let's just call her Miss Butterfingers. So Miss Butterfingers drops it for the second time. This time, not only does the top fall on the glass, but the glass tabletop shatters to pieces. And then she picks up the glass top again and says, oh, well, it's not even broken. I was like, I don't know. I think people can get like shocked and embarrassed. And I didn't want her to feel embarrassed. And her husband was there at the counter, and he was going, oh my God. And so I felt so bad, because he was like, do I need to pay you for that? So I was like, no, it's fine. And then she was like, I'll help clean it up, being very nice. And I was like, no, that's okay. I'll get it. Because like, you've proven that maybe you don't need to be handling stuff, and that's okay. I'll just clean it up. And they left, and I never heard from them again. I didn't expect to, but it's okay, because it's the price of like doing retail, and sometimes things break. But the great thing is I would have never considered planting in the middle of a coffee table until the glass was broken. And so now that it's broken, that has freed up, and that's one of the things I get the most compliments on in the shop, is the fact there's a plant growing out the center of the coffee table. So this Miss Butterfingers, thank you very much for your service to the aesthetic of my shop. So this couch it was in a pottery studio of someone I knew, an artist I knew, and she always called it her studio couch. And of course it's been, you know, beat to hell, and it is so comfortable and so beautiful. And people try to buy it from me all the time, and I'm like, I'll never sell it. So when she went to move, she offered it to me, and so now we have a plant shop couch. And then a friend of mine found this one, and he was like, it's gonna match your other couch. And he found it in a ditch, and so we call it the ditch couch. But look at it, isn't it kind of funny, because they're both like very, very small love seats, but they're, you know, they kind of match, sort of, kind of, in a funny way. I've got this stuff displayed on an old ironing board my mom gave me. And then air plants are in this old case. friend made that open sign, and then these are our fish. And this is a old store cabinet that we use for our counter. You can see we use like all this stuff is just like old stuff I had and I found, old enamel top table. These are IKEA shelves though, and they look great. And so this is the plant shop, the retail side that you can see. I have it pretty packed full right this moment. We do chains and like wires across the way to hang stuff from overhead. And this is sort of one of those things where I was telling you, I did it over the couch so people wouldn't bonk their heads on the pitcher plants so badly. So hopefully that's helpful. But like this one, sometimes they get really long and then people will be looking at me funny as they're trying to walk through because there's a lot of plants in here, as there should be for a proper plant shop. This is my pumpkin story. We went to the Amish auction, looked at the pumpkins, and it was the most pumpkins I've ever seen in my life. And, you know, we had an idea of what we wanted. We wanted some small stackers and little baby pumpkins. And so it was very cool, though, because they drive the wagons there, and then they have all the pumpkins in the back, and then you decide which pumpkins you like, and then you bid on them. The only trick is like the bids were like, you have to buy like a bunch of pumpkins. Like, it would be like, okay, you like these, like, they call these guys like, oh crap, baby boos. Okay, well, how about like 1,000 of them or 500? I think maybe we got anyway. And so then you buy the pumpkin, and they times the price, and that's a lot of math to keep up with. So suffice to say, we knew we needed some babies, but then we got all white ones, and we're like, well, we definitely need some orange ones. And then we're like, we definitely need some of those black ones. Oh my gosh, we need some bigger ones. Went out of there and we spent 3 times the budget, and we got a lot more pumpkins than I was intending. In my life, I've sort of like to be, you know, the caretaker of like 5,000 plants, and that feels really good because like I take care of all these, you know, with the help, and I'm cool with it. The pumpkin thing, they're really cool and they're really fun. It's just, it's a lot of pumpkins. So that is my plant shop. I carry a lot of like some rare stuff, but not a ton of rare stuff because I don't have the market just yet. But like it's small, and then but I carry like, you know, like medium range plants, medium priced plants. I think is like a thing that we sell a lot, in little gifty things too. I don't really enjoy buying the gifty stuff, but I think that it's really important to have a successful plant shop in a small town. You have to have all the pots and all the other stuff. So I do it, but I really only like, you know, buying the plants is the most fun. So, but the other stuff supports the plants, so we do that. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I will see you guys next time. I'm gonna go do some watering. You can imagine how long that will take. It's gonna be fun though. I love it.